In this lesson, we're gonna create an isolated footing and place rebar inside of it. But first, the isolated footing is not planned in this project. So create a new project to create an isolated footing on it. Go to left on the top menu and click File, New, Project. In this time, different project template, structural template, would be used to find out what is the difference on page specific template from the basic setting. Start with a new project and check the level on elevation view. The given levels are to go to the plan view of the upper level, level 2. Then go to the top menu and click Structure, Structural column. First, check the available type of the families. As you can see, the structural column family basically provide two options: steel frame columns and concrete column. So in this structural template, all basic structural family for structural modelings are already loaded in project. This is a specialty of page-specific templates. Choose one from the list of concrete column and place it to specific position. After that, click Structure, Isolated Footing, and check the list of isolated footings. Select a type of footing, go to Property, Constraints, Level, and select Level 1. Then place the footing on the center of the columns. The issue is just an error of range of view, so ignore it. Go to 3D view and check the isolated footing is placed at bottom of the column. Then go to the view control bar at bottom and modify detailing level as fine. Next is checking graphic display option. The style of this model display is set as wireframe, so the model is transparent. In 3D view of the structural model, if the style of the model display is selected as wireframe, figuring out each steel bars or structural elements is much easier. There is a line can be separated with red, blue, and green segments. This means that this column is the analytical model. In structural analysis, each structural elements would be expressed with lines and dots. And similar to analytical model, column is expressed with lines. Go to the view control bar at bottom and select analytical model off. If the rebar placing work is activated, reinforcement shape browser would be opened. It has every profiles that Revit provides. These profiles are also basically loaded through the structural template. Select the profile of rebar you want from the browser and place it inside of the structure. First, place major bar on the column. Before placing, go to the top menu and on placement plane select far cover referenced. Again, on placement orientation select perpendicular to cover. Then go to the Property tab to choose the diameter of the rebar. After all the settings are done, go back to the plan view and put cursor on the cross section of the concrete. If the cursor is on the cross section, green dot line would be appear inside of the cross section, and rebar would be placed inside of green lines area. These green lines mean the thickness of the cover of rebar. Concrete is the compression member in structural system, and steel bar inside of concrete is the tension member. Problem is that steel is the highly corrosive material, so steel bar exposed to the air can be easily corroded. To prevent steel bar from corrosion and to prevent structural issue from quality degradation, steel bar placed on perimeter of the structure must be covered with concrete having enough thickness. Of course, thickness of the cover can be modified. Select the concrete column, go to Property tab, Parameter, and check the thickness of the cover. The profile of the thickness of the cover can be modified the dimension of the thickness. Then progress on the reinforcement again. First, place 4 major bars on the column. Each of them are near to each corner. Go to the 3D view and check if the bars are placed. And then select all 4 of them. Go to View Visible States, click Edit, select rebar as a solid, and click OK. Then to place tie, go back to the plan view and click rebar. In User, placement of major bar and ties can be signified on the master plan, and placing would be progressed meeting architect requirements and standard building specification. Go back to Revit and select tie profile. Then modify placement orientation as parallel to cover. And click inside of the cross section of concrete to place tie. After placing, go to 3D view to check the tie are placed. Then select the tie, go to the top menu, Placement. Modify single as maximum spacing, and this process determines the maximum space between placed ties. Like before, go to the View Visibility States, Edit, and select rebar as a solid. After placing tie, modify the location of major bar to face with the curved segment of the tie. Drag each major bar and drop on the exterior line of the ties, and the major bar would be placed automatically following to the reference points of the ties. So major bars and ties are placed. Go to the top menu, click View, Section, and create a section view of the concrete columns. In this section view, modify detail level as fine and check again how to rebars are placed. This time, I would place rebar with horizontal ends inside of the isolate footing. Select the isolated footing and click rebar, and choose the profile from this browser. After choosing a profile, place the rebars on the bottom side of the isolate footing. And in 3D view, modify the layout rule of rebar as maximum spacing. So you can modify spacing as you want. Now place rebar perpendicular to the original ones. Similarly, create a new section view from the plan view. After that, similar to prior process, place rebar and modify layout rules as maximum spacing. In the end, go to the View Visibility States Edit and select rebar as a solid. And finalize placing rebars on the footing. Following works is place rebar to integrate the footings and the column. Go to the second section view, click rebar, and select the linear rebar profiles and place it inside of the column. After that, move these rebars down to the specific position. Go to Property tab, Hook at End, and modify a standard hook 90 degrees. After the modification is done, modify the dimension of the rebars. Select the right rebar first, go to the top menu, and click Edit Constraints. Then modify the constraints of the top of the rebar as -900 mm. The constraints of the middle of the rebar is thickness of its cover. Modify the constraints as -100 mm. The constraints of the bottom of the rebar is the depth of it. Modify the constraint as -150 mm. Likewise, modify the constraints of the left rebar. After modifying constraints of the hooking rebars, go to 3D view and check the placement. Select the rebar, modify layout rule as fixed number, and enter number 3. Finally, go to the View Visibility State Edit and select rebar as a solid. And the procedure is done.